Welcome to all of you. Welcome to all of you too. So we had a workshop yesterday on geography preparation, geography optional preparation for the mains 2022. So I had discussed some things. I will add to some things more on that. And whatever queries you have on preparation, you are free to ask me. Okay? Before I start off, an important point is please do not see this as marketing for your enrollment. If you want to join, you're always welcome. But the bigger aim is if I can genuinely help you in some ways to organize your work. 3-4 questions I will answer. First question is, hi Alok, hello. Hi, identity. So I said I'm repeating this workshop of yesterday but in different format. Okay, so I hope that benefits all of you who could not attend yesterday. You can have a look today and attend and ask me your questions. Hi Sujay, good evening. So first point is, get this thing out of your mind that geography does not score marks. Since yesterday and day before yesterday, today also I must have met 10-15 of my students who have qualified, and the general agreement is geography has done very well this year. Okay, rank 14 bhi hai, rank 40, rank 30, 41, rank 44. Okay, so good number of them have qualified and with marks on average more than 275, 280, 265 plus, so all of them are there. So marks aaye hain, and one of the students, not my student directly, okay, he has scored more than 300 marks. Okay, so I'll try to invite him someday. Okay, he has done so well. So what did he do differently? We'll talk about it. So the point here is, get this out of mind, and every year, trust me, for the last 7-8 years, every year, geography is giving marks as high as 290, 300 plus marks are rahe hain. And you'll find students in every mark groups, including the lower marks. So it is not about the subject per se, it's about how you write, how you revise. And the common problem that I find among students is that students are not well prepared for the mains because they have spent 6-7 months directly for the prelims. And some of you probably have done the geography classes 2 or 3 years ago, or the prelims nahi hota hai, so all of you are focused on prelims. You forget the optional, and the only time you pick up optional is after the prelims. So 1.5-2 months ke preparation mein you are expecting that you'll clear the examination without writing practice. It becomes difficult. So that's one thing. Marks aate hain, but you have to work differently. The second important aspect is, there is no way of consolidating the subject other than doing 3 things. You all have to revise your notes, memorize your notes, learn answer writing, and very importantly, learn writing spontaneous answers. What I mean by spontaneous answers is, you are given a question, you see the question for a couple of seconds and start writing. So what are the important practice that you have to put in? What type of work, what type of practice, and what type of effort you have to put in? So I said one important effort is, आपको सारा revise करना होगा, plus also memorize the content. Okay. Whenever a question is asked, you can't afford to say you can't recall the content. You can't afford to say you can't remember what are the concepts in that. So when I say, let's talk about Ravenstein's theory of migration, 8-9 sentences have to be in your mind imprinted. वहाँ बैठ के सोच नहीं सकते हो, economy was one, commercial center, travel short distances, male are more migrant, there is counter migration. आपके मन में होना चाहिए. The moment I say agroclimatic regions, trust me, most of you will not recall it. 15 regions should be on your fingertips, बिना सोचे हुए. Write a short note on Meghalaya plateau. वो 10th चीज क्या बोलोगे? It has to be entirely in your mind, pura imprinted. Tell us about the criticisms of Copen's classification. एग्जाम हॉल में आप सोच नहीं सकते कि हो जाएगा. नो, एग्जैक्टली बताओ 10 पॉइंट्स क्या है ऑन Copen's classification. So this is something people miss out while they know the concept, but exactly 10 points kya hai, 5 points kya hai, 8 points kya hai. They'll ask you, tell me what are the principles of environmental management. You should not be struggling. Okay, here are 7 principles hai, and these are the principles. So students and aspirants, all of you online also, please memorize and revise your content. Ye to minimum must hai. Without this, you can't move towards answer writing. So what has happened is, because of the time lag that you have, okay, वाहिद 15 रीजन मत बोलिए, 15 रीजन का नाम बताइए मुझे. 15 रीजन्स का नाम पता होना चाहिए, मेमोराइज्ड, ईस्ट वेस्ट, नॉर्थ साउथ, नॉर्थ ईस्ट, सदर्न, आइलैंड, जो भी है, कोस्टल रीजन, घाट्स, ईस्ट एंड वेस्ट का, should be printed in your mind without struggling to identify what were the regions. So ये must है, and you have to do this from the notes that you have made, and I hope you'll appreciate now that your summaries would have been very, very helpful for you. अगर आपने तब summaries नहीं किया है, so you might struggle a bit. Okay, excellent, very nice वाहिद. But okay, अगर करते तो अच्छा होता. Anyways, ये करना पड़ेगा. Dedicate a time on daily basis, marathon basis पे 15-20 days में finish this work, or at least do this work at the class pace. Okay, आप join करो ना करो, you all have our timetable, so do it at the class pace back in your room. वो time time से लेना कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. That's one thing. Memorize it, and memorize it. You should be able to if I say I'm giving you 1 hour time, recall the entire content of geomorphology. You should be able to jot down the words. Ki internal structure of Earth, there are 5 layers, broadly composition, broadly density, broadly the state, the discontinuities, 4-5 naam, the temperature patterns, what are the minerals, what is the pattern of the earthquake waves, okay, what is the pattern related to volcanism, okay, likh diya, you are done. Next I'll take up is what are the factors affecting landform development. So you have got factors of internal forces, factors of climate aspects, factors related rock and structure, factors related to historical aspects, time aspects, you are done. So 1 घंटे में बैठो and list down topic by topic आपको सारा याद है या नहीं. When I say Davis model or Pink's model, what are the key statements? What are the diagram? You draw the diagram very quickly, graphically. What are the 5 criticisms or 10 criticisms? Keywords क्या हैं? Davis के keywords क्या हैं? It's a closed system. It's a normal cycle. Base level fluctuations नहीं है. It's based on temperate climates of the humid, cool areas. It's applicable probably to areas with uniform lithology. What are the keywords of Davis model? 1-2 घंटे में पूरा geomorphology is revised. You have to get into that type of a mode. Okay, and I pick up any topic randomly. Let's talk about cultural regions of the world. Without struggling too much, culture में क्या आता है? What are the schemes? Who are the people who have given? What are the 5 regions or 6 regions? Moral scheme, board scheme, you are done. So no struggling with the basic content is first step. The second step is answer writing. So one is you have to revise plus memorize. I was focusing on you have to write answers. Okay, write answers of, okay, one is write proper answers and also develop structure. So if you have a target of 5 or 6 answers every day, write answers proper on 1 or 2 of them, another say 3 or 4 you can develop the structure. The structure which has the basic diagram, the basic graph, some case study, some data number, and this you do, okay, looking into books, looking into model answers, looking into references, and so on. Online guys, in case it again goes blank, please be patient. You don't have to walk away. I'll be here for 1 hour. I'll discuss with you. Yes, Monali will do that. We'll do that. We'll give you the schedule. Yes, yes. Okay. So this is one work on daily basis. I would want go after this as a marathon target. Give yourself 15-20 days time. पूरा syllabus को उल्टा देना है. एक दिन में 2 unit if required, and sit down for 7-8 hours if required. The faster you finish this, the better this will be. Okay. Then a very important objective has to be, okay, learning to write on questions which are not straight questions. For the last couple of years, they're asking you tricky questions. So it's about learning to interpret tricky questions. I find students go to the hall without actually learning this skill. I'll give some examples to you. Think of a question like discuss the genesis of cultural plurality in India. How have the changing economic and political landscape impacted cultural diversity? So all know culture, you know ethnicity, but the twist here is, tell us how the economic and the political landscape has impacted cultural diversity. Or think of a question like, evolution of species denotes the inherently dynamic nature of ecosystem. How does evolution of life forms, flora and fauna, okay, tell us about that the ecosystems are dynamic. Or think of a question like, there is a continuous creation, maintenance, destruction and recreation of surface material of the earth. So you take up a question which is not a straight question. Straight question, what are geosynclines? A straight question, write a note on Ravenstein's theory of migration. A straight question, discuss and criticize maybe von Thunen's model. Or even questions like applicability of von Thunen to say India. But think of a question, okay, discuss how von Thunen's concepts were responsible for setting up the scope of quantitative revolution and was also the reason for the decline and rejection of quantitative revolution. Think again, how is von Thunen's concepts responsible for setting up the context of quantitative revolution, and how it was also the reason for the decline and rejection of quantitative revolution. So the idea of normative ideas, value-free inquiry, the concept of isotropic surfaces, ignoring behavior of human. So these helped people develop quantitative revolution. At same time, they become the basis of why QR was rejected, because it was not inclusive of culture, not inclusive of individual differences and so on. So ऐसे questions को आपको सोचना पड़ेगा. You'll have to think through them. Okay. So learn the technique of how to interpret tricky questions. And I will add something here. In answer writing, I would say you can apply this to anything you write down. Every answer has a storyline. Every answer has a story. What I mean by storyline is, say, if I'm asked, write a note on applicability of Davis model in landform development or slope development. So in mental level, I must develop a storyline for that. कि पूछा गया क्या? Discuss the applicability of Davis model in slope development studies. My storyline will be, I'll talk about कि slope development is a very complex process. And conventional models talked about the processes but ignored the time. Davis brought the idea of the time. But in doing this, he ignored many other things. Therefore, Davis is an innovative way, but not the most reliable method of dealing with complexities in landform development. Therefore, Davis is a perspective, but there are other theories which do the work better. This is my storyline. Once my storyline is set, then I know that pehla 2 point becomes my introduction, point 2, 3, 4, 5 becomes my body, point 6, 7 becomes my conclusion. Whenever you are given a question, think of a question like, present a critical account on the emerging patterns of rural-urban relationships. Look at this. Present a critical account on the emerging pattern of rural-urban relationship. An account on the changing pattern. The rural-urban areas are related to one another. Discuss the emerging pattern. अब इसका story होना चाहिए. The storyline I would try is, the rural-urban are settlements, although they are different, but they are related to one another in some ways. The relationship between urban and rural can be studied in terms of rural-urban fringe, in terms of how we demarcate the city region, studied in terms of the population, studied in terms of economy, studied in terms of cultural impact, and in recent times, the relationship has changed, because of which we find the fringe nature has changed, because of which we find the rate of urban influence on rural area has changed, because of which the elements of rural morphology has changed, because of which the composition of urban areas have changed because of migration. The factors are 1, 2, 3, 4 factors. And what does this mean for planning for rural urban areas? Agar ye mera storyline set ho gaya, then you'll have no problem in writing the answer. So for what happens for most of us is, the moment you see a question, ek to aap interpret nahi kar pate ho, ki what is it asking? And second, if we interpret it, what is the sequence of ideas you will develop in? So every answer I'll say, there is idea 1, idea 2, idea 3, idea 4, idea 5, idea 6, and something which is very logically related. Then I'll say idea 1 becomes introduction, this becomes my body, and this becomes my conclusion. So when you see a question, ये अगर mentally नहीं बन रहा है, your answer writing will be a problem. So before you attempt the question, before you start a question, this should fit into your mental schema. This must fit into your mental framework. For some of us, this comes naturally. ये देखते ही हमें आ जाता है. For others, you will struggle. And to do this, a very important requirement is that you should be in control of the syllabus. Say, the moment I ask a question, urban-rural relationships have changed. At the mental level, I quickly scanned कि rural areas का क्या-क्या element है syllabus में. Morphology है, patterns हैं, shapes हैं. Urban areas में क्या-क्या elements हैं. Urban morphology, urban composition, there is migration. So mentally, I have scanned something, and then I am relating them as a part of one storyline. Like I said, please do not see this workshop as a marketing tool alone, though I would wish all of you join us. But I hope this method helps in your preparation. Where are the problems in getting ready for the mains? The problems are, you don't recall the entire content because memorize nahi kiya hai. You do not know answer writing, and the tricky part is not knowing answer writing on these tricky questions, how to interpret them and how to develop the storyline of a particular answer. Once storyline is done, then you can decide on, oh, this one I can write as a diagram. This I need probably case study this. Or here I can talk about a program of the government. I hope you understand. Okay, so this, like say I go back here, that before you actually give a test, in the test conditions, before you actually start spontaneous writing, okay, you have to get this part right. So I'll expect, if I'm giving you a planner, I'll suggest for the month of whatever remains in June, for the month of July, okay, you can go as far as early August tak, okay, focus on these three things: revise, memorize, learn answer writing, and learn to interpret tricky questions. Okay, you can take the questions from me also, I have no issues. Ab join bhi na kare, I'll give you the list of questions. I have prepared a bank of 200-300. Look at this question example. Geography emphasizes the study of regularities in space elements. Discuss. Geography emphasizes the study of regularities in spatial elements. Okay, so you'll have to think on this. A tricky question. कि क्या पूछना चाह रहा है यहाँ पर? What do I mean by regularities? What do I mean by spatial elements? So I'll have a storyline for this. Okay, that geography is in terms of scope very diverse. Yet when geography was developing, there was a debate on that geography can become a science of spatial patterns. Shabbir talked about it. And when talking about spatial patterns, the 3-4 patterns we can talk about. We can talk about regularities, we can talk about differences, we can talk about relationships in the patterns, okay, we can talk about the factors that control the patterns. So therefore, study of regularities includes these 3-4 things. And what are the examples of this? Biome is an example of study of regularity. Areal differentiation is comparative in terms of spatial patterns. Regularities have become the basis of models in spatial studies. Tools like locus analysis also focus on study of some kind of regularities. And then you move on to say that, however, geography is not only about regularities of spatial patterns. Geography also studies the relationships, the ecological aspects between the different elements of ecosystems. Okay, and then you conclude it. So once my storyline is set, my answer is relatively much more easier. So get this into a habit, and I would like to do this, okay, face to face. I'll give you questions, aap soche, I will discuss. I'm sure some of you can give me very good storylines. In some cases, I will give you some, and then I'll give you a model answer wherever I am ready with a model answer. Okay, so learn this, please. Learn this, and then get into a test. And when you are giving a test, I would want कि आप लोग test को बड़े seriously और with sincerity करें. Giving a test should not be an ordeal, a painful task. Test is a very good way of assessing, okay, where you are, and honestly so. Okay, and don't bother about, okay, marks kharab aa rahe hain, okay, we are learning, be with the tests. One of you asked me yesterday that, sir, can we be flexible in the tests? It's a big no for me. Flexibility ka matlab hai you don't understand the demand of the time constraints that you have. UPSC will not be flexible with the mains examination timetable. UPSC will not give you the liberty. You have to struggle, fight, और अगर institutes में clash हो रहा है, find a way to address that. कि दोनों देंगे in whatever way possible. It's a good way of practicing. In any case, we will give you 2 days time to submit, and that should be good enough in terms of flexibility. ठीक है? So tests. So this is the approach of your preparation. Apart from this, there is something more I would suggest all of you do. There are certain areas where updations are required. See, either you do it as a part of a class or a team, or do it on your own. should we use diagrams in every question? Dikshant, बड़ा ही elementary questions है यार. Why are you even asking this question? Geography के student हो, if you can't force diagrams and maps, तो क्या ही geography पढ़ा है बताओ? Why are you even asking this question? It's a very irritating question at a level of कि mains है और 2 महीने में, फिर आपने कुछ पढ़ा ही नहीं किया दिशांत. And if you ask this question का मतलब है कहीं ना कहीं you know it's important and you want me to say, सर मना कर दो मैं नहीं बनाऊंगा. That's unfair, Dishant. Geography है तो you need maps. And when I'm comparing answers, definitely I'll give more marks to somebody who has drawn a good diagram, a good map. So I don't think that's a fair question to ask at this stage. Okay? I mean, this is not a serious question. I will ignore this question henceforth. Should we make separate notes for all diagrams? Now, Wahid, I will suggest yes. Consciously prepare diagrams. वही मैं आने वाला था यहाँ पर. You have to consciously practice schematics. Consciously practice making those flowcharts. Okay, consciously practice making maps on some themes. So as a part of updations, okay, there are 2 types of updations. One is updations in terms of advanced concepts. Increasingly, they're asking you advanced concepts in environment, advanced concepts geomorphology में, landform कुछ ना कुछ पूछ ही देता है. Advanced concepts they ask you in population, settlements ने 2-3 बार पूछा हुआ advanced. Most advanced concepts are in paper 1. Paper 2 में if you see and look back, you'll find that कि paper 2 में the questions are not as okay conceptually difficult. Applied है but not conceptually difficult. Okay, but paper 1 में they are asking you higher concepts. Like last time, I would say mother of all question was the question on the dialectical approach. Okay, talking about the socio-spatial dialectical approach of Marx. So they are asking you advanced concepts, which you have to do to some extent. The second type of updations you require is a list of data and facts. Okay, a list of some case studies. And as a part of updations bolo ya upgradation bolo, whatever, you have to practice okay, smart diagrams, you have to practice smart maps and smart schematics. So allocate some time to do this separately. Yesterday, if you go back and see the YouTube upload we had yesterday on the workshop, in the end of the YouTube, I gave a list of 12-13 topics. इसमें कि आपको data उठाना है. Topics on agriculture, topics of energy security, topics on environment issues and problems, land issues and problems, water issues and problems, rural development issues, issues related to urban problems, urban challenges, a list of some new policies in transport sector. So ऐसे मैंने आपको 12-13 topics दिया हुआ है. Look up yesterday's workshop के last I think 15-20 minutes में I did that. Okay, some of this, if you're a part of the class, I'll help you. And doesn't matter, आप अपने आप भी करोगे. And a good source for this will be your economic survey. Economic survey. Okay, and economic survey वैसे भी I think is very important part of GS, economy, ethics में. Okay, so do this work, and this type of work I think will also give you lot of interesting insights. Will give you lot of interesting dimensions to enrich and embellish your answers and make it smarter. Okay? And advanced concepts, well, I cannot say much right now. As the class proceeds, you can always, and wherever you join, your whatever your source of content you have or teacher you have, please do some of the advanced concepts. And advanced concepts particularly in human geography also. Okay, I find not too many advanced concepts in oceanography and climatology, but human geography mein hai. Okay, and geomorphology of course is always evergreen. Okay, so these are the 3-4 updations and upgradations you need in your preparation. The next one is, some of you are asking me about maps. Now guys, maps is something I am not willing to teach in this 2.5 months. map should be entirely your work, because for 3 reasons. Number 1, map work requires practice. The more you practice, the better. The more you actually start locating, okay, so that's your effort. Number 2, every person has some techniques of mapping. So those who have been my student, I follow a technique. And if you have studied elsewhere, I'm sure they must have taught you some technique. Go by the technique you have learned. The 2.5 months is not the time to pick up a new technique. You'll mess up your preparation. Okay, so go by technique that you have learned. And third thing is, you should not rely on what are the possible map entries to be asked this time. You must prepare the entire list of map entries, which can be as much as 400 of them, okay, as many as 300 of them, whatever list you have. So that list I can give you from my side. Okay, आप अगर नहीं भी part हैं, walk in, our office can give you the list. And you do it your way, whatever way you have learned the techniques. So maps, all I can support you is, I can support you with a list. Okay, if you are part of our program, I'll give you those 40 plus map sessions ke videos that I recorded, okay, some time ago, which all of you get as a part of the foundation course in the last 2 years में हम आपको ये पकड़ा देंगे. At your convenience, some of them are 15 minutes, 20 minutes. You know the techniques I use, those reference lines that we draw. आप चुपचाप सुनना, every location has been mapped and marked, and I'll suggest do this on a regular basis starting tomorrow, day after tomorrow, for the next 20 days. हर दिन 1 घंटा 1 hour इसको पक्का देना. Because if the map work you leave for later times, you cannot cope with the map work. And one question people ask me is, sir, should we prepare maps of current affairs? My answer is no. Because now see, say in Kolkata, some important event happened. So you will say Kolkata is a current affairs, and I will start practicing Kolkata. Maybe in Nainital, some important thing happened. So Nainital is current affairs, and I'll prepare this. My answer to this is that Kolkata and Nainital, भाई important event हो ना हो, ये तो फिर भी important है ना. Okay, unless it's a obscure area. Otherwise, your list of maps should have all these places. So if you go by current affairs and start mining from current affairs, it is not manageable at all. आप कर ही नहीं पाओगे आप. You focus on a mother list. And our objective is, out of 10 entries they give you, try marking 6, 7. That's all. 10 out of 10 is impossible in the type of entries they give you today. अगर 6, 7 mark हो पा रहा है, which is fairly doable if you practice well, and do this in this first 10-15 days, please. आपको अपने आप confidence आ जाएगा. Okay, the short videos हैं, 45 minutes के, 1 hour के, 15 minutes के, and it's very, I don't think it's as taxing. आप सुनोगे चुपचाप, keep your outline sheet handy and keep marking as you are reading or you are listening to those videos. You can pause and listen and pause and listen. You can do that. V10, you are a student in 2015 batch. Will the class notes of 15 suffice? No. 15 is too old, beta. And the approach has changed, the type of questions have changed. I will recommend, if you can join, please join the MSP program. It will be frustrating to some extent why some advanced concepts are there, but 15 K notes will not suffice. In fact, I'll say, even if you have done the notes of 2019 or 20, you'll have to add something. In the last 2 years, I'm adding a lot of content, which I think will become the trends in the paper henceforth. So if you can join, I'll invite. Otherwise, you can always come and ask me what topics you must study. I will tell you broadly what you can study. So I'm there. I can support you that ways maybe. Right? So I have discussed what should be the approach of your revision, answer writing, and I've discussed how you must spend time in interpreting the questions, and then I discuss what you must do for maps and how will you go about it. In general, current affairs based preparation, you can leave it to me. I will cover that as a part of question discussion. I'll cover that as a part of the exercise in the class itself. Otherwise, of course, you must manage on your own. Okay? So that's about the maps. Now, an important thing for geography is, now see, you have to learn wherever possible to discuss with geographical perspective. I repeat, wherever possible. I'm not saying try pumping geographical terms everywhere. जहां possible है और एक दो भी आ जाएगा, it's good enough. Generally, geographical perspective is in 6-7 topics. एक तो thought है. The thought should be very, very well prepared. Population geography, settlement geography, topics of trade and transport, and in topics of political geography. To this, if you add agriculture, this is, of course, I forgot regional planning. अगर आपके ये topics properly memorized हैं, okay, you can use the concepts across lot of answers. I had made a list. Geographical thought छोड़ देते हैं. Population geography में there are about 10-15 concepts you must remember. In settlement geography again said 10-15 concepts you must remember. So I'll give you a list of that. Okay, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 about approximate about 100 to 150 concepts हैं. You have to memorize and internalize those concepts. फिर कुछ भी questions पूछेगा, you can play around with those terms. For most of us, when we are forcing a geographical concept, most of us can't think beyond possibilism and determinism. Problem ये है. Okay, but you have to think about, okay, terms beyond these two terms. And to this, if you can add some concepts of environment, environmental principles, environmental elements, concepts related to, okay, what are the ecosystem concepts, the answer becomes far more stronger. Jyoti Davar, if you are expecting to qualify the prelims and give the mains, then you should join. Otherwise, you can wait. Okay, you can revise your own portions of your test series enrichment. Okay, MSP program is focused on this year's mains. Okay, so if you are expecting to qualify, please do join. I'm starting on Monday. ठीक है? So ये एक important exercise है. And these lists I'll give it to you from my side. हम पकड़ा देंगे आपको. Okay, what are those 15-20 terms that you should know, or 10 terms you should know for the relevant, okay, units I mentioned here. Population, settlement, trade, transport has good concepts. It's just that we have not studied as much deep. This last 2-3 batches में I've started covering some of these topics as a part of your regular course. Again, it's an evolution thing, no? When I was teaching in 2018 and 19, these topics were not as important. But as the course starts changing and the question nature changes, अब हमें ये पढ़ाना पड़ रहा है as a part of the main program. इसमें काफी concepts हैं political geography में, geographical thought में. I'll give that list to you for you to practice. Okay, so this is the input I can suggest of how to go about the preparation. And those of you joined me late, I was telling all the students, geography has done very well this year. Okay, good number of marks and good number of ranks also are from geography. So don't talk yourself out of the race. Don't convince yourself geography मुश्किल है, हो नहीं पाएगा, ऐसा नहीं है. You write good answers, you write, okay, relevant answers, good diagrams. I think you should be able to manage. Abhishek, those who are planning for 2023, We'll start your enrichment program from September end. September 27th ko shuru hoga. You can join that, but not the MSP program. Those who are not preparing for this year's mains, don't join the MSP program, please. All the MSP is main support program. All the main support program are for the mains immediately. And I'll recommend, now that you're hearing me, okay, please consider essays preparation also. And if you want to join, you can always join there. After prelim results, yes, you can ish. The problem will be I would have finished off 2 tests. Or at least I would have finished off approximately 10, 12 classes. So yes, you can, but you must cope with that after your prelim results. See, if you leave your preparation for prelims results, you can't finish the syllabus in time. So आपके पास effectively only 2 months रह जाता है. Month of July and month of August, that's all. Yes, Abhishek, even then you must join, because MSP program is focused on this year's mains. So what was taught in last year's mains or before that MSP was good for that year. For this year, the approach will be different. So MSP, I would recommend, unless you have got financial problems, you should do this as a refresher course every time before your mains. Abhishek. Okay? Otherwise, on your own, please do this. Updations and upgradations and data and the rest. Okay? Acha, one last suggestion to all of you. Starting Monday, if you take a day off tomorrow for planning, starting Monday, I would suggest all of you prepare for 10-12 hours of work daily. Okay? And divide your day schedule in 4 blocks. 4 blocks mein, you must have a block for current affairs, a block for GS, a block for optional, and a block for miscellaneous revisions and miscellaneous memorization and recall. And on an average, I would recommend 3 to 4 hours. 3 to 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours. So, and sometimes maybe these 3 hours, 4 hours. So, 10-12 ke range mein khelo aap. And in time, you have to increase this as the main starts coming closer. Current affairs preparations for geography optional, Navleen, there is no one source for this. Yojana hai, InExpress hai, compilations if you can take up. There is no one source, and every topic in geography has a current affair base. जैसे आपका volcanoes, earthquakes हुआ है, becomes a part of your geomorphology discussion. Landslides हुआ है, part of geomorphology. You have got urban heat waves, okay, part of climatology. Marine pollution and problems of security maritime, part of oceanography. So I will not suggest any one source to work it out. Geographical thought. Dishant, if your writing is not in practice, then do practice writing geographical thought answers. Don't leave it for spontaneous writing. Okay, please do write. I would expect, plan for writing about 200 to 300 answers before you give your mains, only for geography optional, and about 10 to 12 essays before you give your essays paper finally. Yes, Abhishek, you can come and talk to me, not a problem. But do find out, okay, my availability if I'm in class or otherwise, but you can come and meet me, no problem. Approach for paper 2. Ravi, Shankar, this is a Shekhar. ये बड़ा generic question हो जाता है. Paper 2 questions, अगर applied है, case studies हैं, conceptual है, link it to the theories of paper 1. Okay, I can't make a generic statement on approach for paper 2. That's a too vague question. Sujay, you can, but I have for some time discontinued Cosmos because I wanted some changes done. Okay, the old model of Cosmos I wanted to change. That's why last couple of weeks we are not releasing Cosmos. I'll hope to get back again probably end of this month or sometime next month. Sujay. Okay, whatever I had to say as a part of how to prepare for the mains, time division, What type of updation, what approach in writing, your coverage and revisions I have taken care of. List to all, get the open to all list of. Kya matlab, Hardeep? I don't understand. You want the list of questions from me, Hardeep? You can walk in and take it from us, not a problem. We'll compile it, give it to you, not a problem. If that's your question. Anybody else? Any questions you want me to ask? Any questions? Anything you want to clarify? First है 16th को है या 18th को है? 18th या 19th को है? 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th. Okay, and the test is on 18th. इससे ज़्यादा आप क्या टाइम दोगे बच्चे? सोच के देखो ना. Okay, you have the entire syllabus with you. You can't give more than this time. 3 days for subjects are done. 3 days में geomorphology done. You have to keep that pace. Otherwise तो आप फैल जाओगे ना. You can't afford. And in any case, I would want कि last 10 odd days आप अपने आप पढ़ो ना. So I don't think I can afford to give you more time. I wish I had more time. वैसे भी people are questioning से इतने जल्दी शुरू कर रहे हो. Okay, I mean window कहाँ है आपके पास? My last test is on September the 9th, I think. Discussion जो है September the 9th. Exam कब है आपका? September 16th. एक हफ्ते पहले छोड़ रहे हैं. बताओ कहाँ टाइम है आपके पास? मर पड़े करो यार. Means opportunity is not something that everybody gets. Okay, so use it that way. You should be, I used a term yesterday, your focus and effort should be maniacal. जब पागलपन जुनून होता है ना, उस फोकस से आप पढ़ाई करें मेंस के लिए प्लीज. हरदीप, यस. ओके, 80-85 कट ऑफ है. यस, unless you go below 75, I'll still say be hopeful and prepare. You never know. Okay, what the cutoff is. Last time we were anticipating a cutoff of 89, 90, 91. Cutoff for 86 point something, I think. I can understand your request, but trust me on my instincts. Okay, so I will do what's important, what I think is important. Do suggest, but trust my instincts, what I think is a bit more important than the others. No, Dikshant, the integrated course for next year is starting. Yes, yes, from 27 June, yes. Not for you guys. Most of you are giving the mains, but not for you guys. For the next year, we have the new batch foundation and integrated from 27 June. Anything else you want me to clarify? Anything else? Here, you're scoring 75. Mamta, it will be a borderline case. It will be a borderline case. So those who joined me late, in case you missed the initial part, 3 important things I want to re-emphasize. Number 1, answer writing आप सीखें. Answer writing, okay, of the straight types. Answer writing is actual writing, and plus also practice how to develop a structure of an answer. The second very important thing is learn how to interpret tricky questions. Okay, and third is try developing storylines for answer. Yahi storyline will become the structure of the answer. So mentally I am thinking I have to go to a party. The storyline is get ready, drive the car, find a good parking, walk into the party, meet friends and whatever. So once my line of action is set, I can accordingly start working. Okay, so try doing these 3 things, and once you have done this, I would add one more aspect is you get into practicing spontaneous writing. इसके बाद think of tests and whatever practice you want to do. This is the plan for your preparation. I repeat, answer writing, actual answer writing may be the straight types. Develop structures of some answer. Keep a daily target here. The daily target could be, could be 5 answers a day or 6 answers a day, out of which 2 or 3 actual writing, another 3, 4 is structure. For every question, try developing your skills of storyline. And for the tricky questions, try interpreting कि topic क्या मांग रहा है, क्या पूछ रहा है. And then of course, spontaneous writing. The spontaneous writing work can start maybe mid-July or late July, but go aggressive after it in the month of August. Many updates, positive, negatives, well, whatever. छोड़ दो हरदीप, इतना speculation is not good. You more or less know you are there or maybe a borderline case, start your preparation. Don't waste time. A circus called comparing marks, debating cutoffs. Leave that circus, please. It only is a waste of time for most of us. So this is the summary of the conversation we have today. And for the sake of example, I can take up 1 or 2 questions. How do you change the? So I'll take up a question. The question is, now look at this question. To what extent do you agree that a population pyramid is an expression of India's demographic history? Add a word here, changes. To what extent do you agree that the changes in the population pyramid of India is an expression of the demographic history of India? 15-mark question. Maybe I add the word discuss. To what extent do you agree that changes in population pyramid is an expression of India's demographic history? So, what's the question asking you? Okay, if I say demographic history of India, has it changed? Yes. Demography is population, attributes, growth, distribution, age structure, sex ratio, including your elements of dependency ratio. All of that is part of demographic history. So if I look at how the population pyramid has changed, can I comment on that this is representing the demographic history of India or not? Write this 200 words or maybe 250 words. Any case not more than 3 pages में लिखा होना चाहिए. So I'll develop a storyline. Now you understand the question, I'm sure. अब इसको attack कैसे करो? Storyline क्या होगा? The storyline will be something like demographic history of a place includes a study of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. Okay? the age pyramid captures 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. Okay? The age pyramid in demographic transition model does represent the history of a population's growth. This is the example. Okay, the demographic history includes these 3 or 4 things. Age pyramid, okay, or age sex pyramid tells us these things. An example, we say, if you look at the demographic transition model, every stage has a typical age sex pyramid. This is also obvious in studying India's population history in stages. I'm sure you know stage 1, stage 2 of India. Okay, starting from 1921, before 21, 21 to 51, 51, 81, 2001 and so on. And each of these stage has some typical age sex pyramid. Okay. Therefore, yes, okay, age sex pyramid represents the demographic history. However, there are some other elements of demographic composition that the age pyramid does not depict. It does not depict, say, a social composition. It does not depict migration trends. ये भी important part of demography है ना? Okay. The challenge with this approach is that every region has a unique age sex pyramid. Therefore, the country's demographic evolution cannot be studied by only one age sex pyramid. So while it can be used, but for the country level study, we cannot have one pyramid alone because there are diversities across different places. Okay. And the age sex pyramid cannot explain the basis of changes. कि change क्यों हो रहा है? Is it related to social change, a political policy, related to maybe some economic factor? So अगर ये आपका story line है, your answer is a beautiful answer. I would put this in the introduction, this in the diagrams, this is the discussion with diagrams and maps, this is the main body India में है with the conclusion, and these are the gaps. The conclusion is, yes, it's a good tool, but we need other discussions also for a complete demographic transition, evolution of a country. Yes, it does not tell us about caste composition, religious composition, tribal composition. I hope you got the point, all of you. ये बहुत important step answer writing. अगर ये कर दिया आपने, you will have no problem in answer writing. Passing reference क्या है? लिखा है मैंने यार. Okay, that example is in the DTM model. The age pyramid does reflect the stage of demographic transition. Hardeep, what passing reference yaar? You don't have to give me a paragraph detail on what is demographic transition model. जरूरत नहीं है. Is it okay? I hope you understand what I mean by a storyline of an answer. And this must come very fast to you. Question dekhte hi, you exactly know this point and this point and this point. How will I argue and I'll end the answer? It is this what I also call as the mental schema of an answer. The mental schema, and these tools can be used in any answer writing. Anybody online, you want me to clarify something? I know I do a bit of scribbling on the board, but if you're listening to me, you have got the point. I could try one more question. Focused anthropocentrism in geography came only with a humanistic perspective. Discuss. Focused anthropocentrism in geography came only with a humanistic perspective. So I would like you to spend some time thinking on this question first. What am I asking you? What do I mean by anthropocentrism? And what do I mean by focused anthropocentrism? And why am I saying it came only with a humanistic perspective? I'm sure you know what's being asked. This question somewhere implies that anthropocentric approach was not the contribution of humanistic alone. ये पहले भी था. But with humanistic, something got more focused. If I draw the storyline in this, I'll say the geography is physical and human geography. Human geography can be traced back to all the regional geographers, including the first Varenius Kant and also Varenius and Kant, and also the works of Ritter. We also find anthropocentric approach in the works of Ratzel and in the works of Vidal also. There was a time when physical geography as a focus was promoted, but all of them talked about human aspects. But the approach was not complete, because when I say not complete, there were three things missing in the previous approaches. The analytical aspect of Y was missing in a human geography. Human geography was more of inventorization, was more of collecting facts rather than explaining the why aspects. Why does, because see, why का बहुत important element है perception. Why does man do what he does? There is a psychological angle, there is a perception angle, there is an emotional angle. And those aspects were not a part of Ratzel's work or Vidal's work or the works of Humboldt and the rest. Okay, so it was human centric, but it was not analytical. Second, in the QR phase, it was value free inquiry. So although human aspects were studied, the human aspects were simplified. Economic man, rational man, a mechanical man. So this is human geography, but it does not have anthropocentric approach, which is focused approach. Okay, and this is also true for the behavioral aspects or behavioral geography. Behavioral geography, because it focused on making laws, it tried to quantify and make it objective. That's for Therefore, जो individual differences in human aspects were ignored. You have made a law on human behavior. ठीक है? And then we'll say it was therefore the humanistic geography, focus on emotions, focus on culture, or focus on issues related to decision making, including identity issues, the concept of geosophy. All this made geography more focused on anthropocentric approach. So that's what we say, that focused anthropocentric approach comes much later. And this is how, with humanistic geography, geography becomes truly a human-centric. ये मेरा story line है. Once story line is done, then I don't think you'll have any problem in developing the answer. आपको पता है कि ये बन जाएगा introduction. I can use some schematics to talk about Ratzel, Vidal and Varenius. Then probably some discussions, एक या दो point में, why was human geography before humanistic not human focused? Because it was more descriptive, not analytical. QR is ignoring. Even behavioral geography is making laws and generalization of human aspects. And then you have come here. And conclusion, I will write down that focused anthropocentric approach is seen in feminist geography. It is seen in structural geography or structuralism in geography. It is seen in the study of desecularization of society. So these are the new trends. We have got caste geography, feminist geography, political geography, and you're on. The applied aspects where we are focusing on human development, focusing on planning. This is focused anthropocentric approach. It is focused anthropocentric approach. Now tell me, if I give you this schema, अब आप लिख लोगे answer, all of you? What do you think? लिख लेंगे आप लोग? Now this is my objective. तो ऐसे आप 200-300 क्वेश्चन का कर लो and write 50-60 क्वेश्चन लिख लो पहले in the first 1 or 2 months. Pooja, because reaction time in the examination is less. That is why you have to go more and more prepared. That's why you have to go more and more practiced. आप ये सब काम एग्जाम हॉल में नहीं कर सकते for the first time. आप 200-300 क्वेश्चंस करोगे, then this will set up as a, it becomes almost like a method to answer any question. So don't wait for examination hall. ये पहले से आप डेवलप करें please. I would call this as something like your answer canvas. Every answer has a basic canvas to work on. Develop the canvas. ठीक है? So those who joined me yesterday and today, I hope I've added some value in terms of how can you prepare and what should the approach be. And trust me, you do this for 100 questions. You will start thinking on these lines automatically. फिर कोई struggle नहीं होने वाला आपका. और आपको मैं 2-3 ऐसे दिखा दूंगा how this was ultimately written. Then it comes down to giving the richness. नहीं, human geography में there's a lot to write down, Hardeep, rather than start about normal cycle and meander formation. ये आपको कम लग रहा है in terms of examples. Okay, I don't think you have to go towards that. Applied geography करके छोड़ दो ना. Applied geography in human ecology, applied geography in regional planning, applied geography related to disaster management. That's focused anthropocentric approach. Okay, I think this is what I could have discussed in the time that we have. Let's meet on Monday. If you're joining me offline, be on time. Online, okay, you can always take up the course also. But my recommendation to you is, if you are around here, I would be happy if you come offline. At least maybe the initial classes, so that you get rhythm of preparation. ठीक है? Okay. Bye all of you. All the best. And for Monday, those who are joining me, please revise geomorphology and India physiography, not entire India physical. Because India physical monsoon part is clubbed with climatology. The soils part clubbed with biogeography. The vegetation part clubbed with environment and biogeography. So prepare geomorphology and the Indian physiography part, which are related to one another. Take. Bye all of you. All the best. Okay, I hope it serves the purpose of supporting you.